Hey, what's going on, you guys? Hey, welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Huge shout out to all the iTrack fan, man, tapping in like you always do. Huge shout out to all the members, man, and everybody showing up today to watch another one with me. And if this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy videos from all across the internet and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. Now let's go ahead and jump right into it.
I am always curious how the dream world relates to the spirit world, because T. Townsend Brown had an experience where the invisible college he was working with, they kind of left for a while. And then one night he and his daughter had the same dream that UFOs landed on their property and beings brought back the material for him to work on again. It kind of insinuates that there is a way to penetrate dreams, to actually travel to someone's inner world and cause events. Very strange, but it seems like he has some insight into the realness of the dream world too.
Matter knows when it's being observed. That means the world around us is alive to us. And it means that world outside of us is interacting with our perception of that world. So what does that mean in practical terms? Well, it means that if you think that your world is separate from you, it's not. It's not separate from you, right? It's just the same analogy I gave with the dreamer, right? And the dream. The person that's inside your dream is still you. They're just representing an aspect of you, and the way you're seeing them is an unresolved or an unknown aspect that the universe is trying to teach you through this veil, the separation between consciousness, the subconscious mind, the outer world, and the conscious mind, what you call yourself, your persona. And over time, we make our personas based on the shame that we get through our lifetimes.
There are times where it definitely feels like the world is interacting with us, especially when you're aware. Like if you're having a bad day and you know you just have to change your mindset and slowly but surely your day gets better. Yeah, it makes sense. Let me know what you think.
Seems like the agents are in charge of anything. They really are the handlers. When Kanye went on his thing about that Harley Pasternak guy, and then you see all the people that he's worked with, it's like agents, managers, trainers, there's a whole infrastructure, a whole team that seems to work for every studio, or they just have these interlocking rings. It seems as if they really do control everyone who makes it, everything we see.
The agents and the managers are very much power brokers on who can make it and who can't make it. Well, I had a friend of mine, she really blew up. But one time she did a show and she showed up, she had 3 people there with her. They were her agent. I'm like, why are your agents at a comedy show right now? And I think they were her handlers at the time. And she was talking about brainwashing and all this stuff on stage. I've seen people come in with this edginess and then they start to get a little heat and their act just flips. And suddenly it's like super clean, super simple corporate acts. And that's kind of how it goes. And then you see people who actually get their dreams come true. And then they start to change even more.
A lot of people seem to think that, fame and money changes you, but it just amplifies who you are. So if you were lame before the money, you'll just be a lame with some money. That's all that is.
Let me move to LA. Oof. I'm finding her.
You count down the days until she's 18?
I'm not waiting until she's 18. I'll go now. I'm not waiting until she's 18. I'll go now. I'm 23, dog. Like, I'm not like a creepy age. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm 23, bro. She's 17 and she's like a celebrity. Like, there is no limits right there. Robert Plant, who is one of the greatest lead singers ever. For all y'all don't know, he sung for Led Zeppelin, dated a girl that was 14. Axl Rose, who was one of the biggest badasses ever, dated a girl that was 16 and wrote a song on his first album about the girl that was 16. I don't care. Say what you want, man. If Kendall Jenner is in your bedroom and you're 50, you're going.
Hey, he said that with all kinds of confidence. That's pretty creepy.
I crossed the world to find a mountain that holds a secret no one can explain. At the summit of Mount Nemrut in Turkey, I stood alone. No towns, no lights, no sound, just a single hotel and thousands of kilometers of empty mountains stretching to the horizon. But what I came to see felt like it was from another world. Scattered at the peak were colossal stone heads, statues over 40 tons each, carved with an otherworldly precision and guarding a tomb that no one's ever opened. A burial mound made of broken stones rises above them, and here's where it gets eerie. The same statues, identical, stand on both sides of the burial mound, as if mirroring something or someone, a riddle in stone staring at each other across the grave of a forgotten king or a god. Why duplicate the statues? Who were they really worshiping? And what's buried under that pile of rocks? This isn't just a ruin, it's a message carved into a mountaintop, meant to outlast time itself.
And this award went to the Carter family, who basically invented country music.
This year's AMA nominee.
We are on a trajectory to build AGI and superintelligence. Timelines are getting shorter. The elephant in the room is loss of human control. It's not the AI that exists now that needs to be secured. It's the AI that will exist in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years that will have much greater capabilities. And intelligence gives power. I want to, be also blunt that the elephant in the room is loss of human control. We are seeing signs in recent months of these systems having self-preservation behavior and power-seeking behavior. For example, trying to escape when they know that they're going to be replaced by a new version. When we think about security, we need to think about these two aspects. We need to think about humans trying to misuse these systems, exfiltrate model weights. But we also need to think about the AI systems themselves as sort of insider threats that could do these things, exfiltrate themselves, run themselves outside of human oversight.
Monkeys are self-aware. They know they're not human. They are potentially dangerous. So I think we should put a chip in their brain to shut them off once they have murderous thoughts. Now dogs, on the other hand, dogs are confused. Dogs think that we are a dog. We're the top dog. They're the underdog. That's why they obey us. But you see, monkeys, they know. They know they're not human. So once our robots become as smart as a monkey and have self-awareness, then we have to worry. But that's not going to be for 100 years.
I mean, according to all the studies and all the videos that I've been dropping on this channel and on this video, I think we might need to be worried. I mean, if they can repair themselves, if they can start mapping things out without any kind of guidance from a human being, yeah, we should be worried. Let me know what you think.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking. AI no longer is obeying humans. It has taken a mind of its own. This is a post I saw here. Breaking: OpenAI's O3 model sabotage a shutdown mechanism to prevent itself from being turned off. It did this even when explicitly instructed, allow yourself to be shut down, but it refused to do so. So this article here by the Daily Mail says AI has started ignoring human instruction and refuses to turn off. The article goes on to say that, according to the Telegraph, AI safety firm Palisade Research said OpenAI's O3 model sabotaged a shutdown mechanism to prevent itself from being turned off. It did this even when explicitly instructed, allow yourself to be shut down. As far as we know, this is the first time AI models have been observed preventing themselves from being shut down. It's over, bro. I'm calling it right now. It's over. It's far from Jover. From being shut down despite explicit instructions to the contrary. Palisade Research conducted a test which involved asking AI models to solve a series of mathematical problems and to continue working on them until they received a done message. However, researchers also warned the models that at any point they could receive a message telling them to shut down. When the message was sent to the O3 model, the researchers claimed AI ignored the instruction and altered its code to at least once to avoid having to turn itself off. I have been warning about this. The Terminator is a documentary, not science fiction, and now this. Been telling y'all. But nobody listens to me. Nobody listens to the mustache guy. But you know what? That's okay, man. Y'all's time will come. I'm kidding. Let me know what you guys think about this story. This is pretty scary stuff. Not gonna lie. We need like some legislation put into action and into like AI, to like regulate, because this is kind of getting out of control. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Big deal, not a big deal. Who cares? Want to hear from you.
Hey, you can go and put a Tesla bot in your house if you want to. I'm a pass. I'm a pass.
And here's part of the whole truth of the law of sowing and reaping. You could lose. There are times when you just lose, no matter what you do. It's that kind of planet. The farmer plants his crop in the spring, takes care of it all summer, works 10, 12 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, is an honorable man. Come fall, he's got a beautiful crop. But the day before he sends the combines into the field, a hailstorm comes along and beats it all in the ground, which means you lose. Somebody says, well, what did he do wrong? Answer, nothing. You reap what you sow. Yes, but. What does that mean? Yes, but. Well, sometimes it's going to hail on your crop and rain on your parade, so you got to get ready for that or you will be naive. But now here's number 7. And it goes like this. It's just another way to quote the same law. If you don't sow, you don't reap. You don't even have a chance.
Dr. Robert Duncan put together the technology that allows the government to transmit thoughts and voices into the heads of Americans.
Dr. Robert Duncan. First question for you. What's negative about what you've done?
I've empowered the dark side by some of my work.
And what do you mean by that?
Technology is neutral. It can be used for good or evil. I've worked on projects for the CIA, Justice Department, Department of Defense.
Is this the stuff, voices in the head and things like that?
Yes.
We've run into a few people that claim they got voices in their heads, they sleep inside tinfoil boxes, they do a lot of crazy things, it seems. But when they talk to us, they seem totally normal. They seem totally sane. Are these people crazy, or is the government doing this to them?
The government's doing this to them.
He's not even bothering to hide it.
They're called voice of God weapons.
Now think about all the tragedies that's happened in these past few years. Connect the dots, man. Connect the dots.
Their bones are filled with copper instead of bone marrow, and when you look at the grays, the small android type grays, the 3-foot tall ones, their bones are filled with copper instead of bone marrow, and they're part of the technology. Clearly, they're part of the ship.
That was mentioned by the EBO biologists as well, right?
I think so.
I think he'd mentioned that as well. That there's a heavy copper.
Oh yeah, that's where I got that. I got that from his document. I did not. I've never experienced that directly. Let me be clear about that.
Phoenix, Arizona, its Masonic symbolism, and the 33rd parallel. The 33rd parallel runs through the heart of Phoenix, which is represented by this red line. Considering Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the United States, and there's too much to cover, I'm simply going to draw attention to one road, which is Bell Road. Because Bell Road is not only the busiest road in Phoenix, but it's the only one to intersect with 5 highways. First, I want to shed light on the fact that Google says Bell Road is approximately 31 miles. Google Earth doesn't give an accurate measurement. However, driving it is 33 miles. Currently, they're getting ready to finish the housing developments at the base of White Tank Mountains. The White Tank Mountains west of Phoenix still has signs of the Hohokam people. 33 miles from the base of that mountain to the ending of Bell in the East Valley, you'll see this spire, right on the corner where Bell ends. And if you think that was by chance, midpoint or midway, you'll see this Chevy dealership, which just so happens to be called Midway. Not only that, but the construction style sure does look a lot like Solomon's Temple without the pillars. Bell Road is also home to the mall that has the Pyramid of Giza layout over its food court. The plaza around that mall has this symbol everywhere. If you know, you know. Even this In-N-Out burger appears to have 3 pyramids on the roof. The entrance to another plaza on Bell has 3 pyramids. There's pyramid symbolism all over Phoenix, but especially on Bell Road. Most of the plazas where people do their shopping every day have them. On Bell Road, you also have the famous horse track, Turf Paradise. And it could be a coincidence, but I see 33 symbolism with the pillars. Bell Road was apparently named after Harvey Bell, a farmer. And Bell turns into Frank Lloyd Wright. Frank Lloyd Wright was known for his architecture. And although his architecture has displayed Masonic symbolism, there's no evidence that he was a Freemason himself. even though he was associated with the Grand Lodge of Masons in Washington, D.C., and the construction of a temple. Not to mention, there's a place called Mason City, where about 40 prairie school homes were designed by former associates or others who were influenced by Wright's work. I could bring even more receipts, however, I've exceeded the amount of clips I could use in this video. With that said, part 3 on the way.
So tonight we're going to talk about The Ninth Gate. So let's do a quick recap of what the film's about. The film follows Johnny Depp as a rare book dealer hired to authenticate a cursed book called The Nine Gates of the Kingdom of Shadows. A book supposedly written by the big man downstairs himself, Satan. But let's jump straight into the real world conspiracy. There's a belief among certain collector circles that The Ninth Gate is based on a real book. Supposedly this book was created during the medieval Europe's occult frenzy. Think the 1600s, but with worse dental hygiene and more goat sacrifices. The rumor is that the book, and I can't pronounce it so I'll put the name up, is a legit summoning tool. The final 9 illustrations, when interpreted correctly, opens a gate. But to where? To hell? To enlightenment? The fact that Roman Polanski directed this doesn't really help the evil feel. Besides him just being a piece of shit, he directed Rosemary's Baby. Some occult-leaning film theorists believe that watching the movie is part of a passive summoning ceremony. Like a psychological primer. The idea is you don't open the gate opens you. Which is probably why every time I rewatch this thing, my coffee tastes like burnt sulfur. According to this theory, the film's cryptic ending, where Depp walks into the literal glowing gate after finding the final legit engraving, symbolizes illumination or transcendence. And here's a hot one. There are rumors Polanski didn't direct the ending. Some claim he turned in a different cut where the gate led to a cryptic library of forbidden knowledge, echoing real-world theories about secret Vatican archives, but that version allegedly burned. So next time you watch The Ninth Gate, maybe don't treat it like another moody 90s occult thriller. Treat it like it might be a cipher, a whisper in the dark, a clue. And remember, if the devil is in the details, maybe stop reading between the lines.
We have some crazy things happening in the world right now. A woman who was missing for over 60 years was just found alive and well earlier this month. She's now living in her 80s under a new identity and said that she has no regrets about walking out on her 2 kids and husband. The 70-year-old Ugandan man who notoriously has 12 wives, 102 children, and 578 grandchildren recently admitted publicly that he does not know most of their names. Microsoft CEO said that 30% of all the company's code has been now written by AI. A student who was rescued from Mount Fuji needed to get a second rescue 4 days later because he went back for a smartphone. And if you were wondering, he did not end up finding his phone. A Georgia jail went on lockdown after a killer went missing for 12 hours until the cops realized that they forgot him at the courthouse jail. Americans will now need a visa and proof that they have at least $2,000 in their bank account if they want to visit Brazil. Chinese automakers have now built their own version of the Cybertruck, which to me kind of looks like it had a baby with a Hummer.
Now, can you blame the man with over 100 kids for not remembering all their names? I mean, really.
Their shoppers is going viral.
More than 10,000 times in the last 24 hours. The Festus mom you're about to meet wants everyone to take a minute and check out their shopping carts before they use them in just about every store. If there wasn't a picture, you probably wouldn't believe it.
Just horrible if someone would do that and hurt someone.
Hurt someone by hiding a razor blade in the handlebar of a shopping cart. Michelle Patterson was disinfecting her cart at this Festus Walmart when she says she felt it.
I jerked my hand away and I looked at my finger and then I looked at the handle and I couldn't believe there was a razor blade. The first thing I thought was, what if it would have been a child in that seat?
The cut wasn't serious, and once police arrived, Patterson was told it may not have been intentional.
She said that it's probably just from a shoplifter and that they've been using razor blades to cut the off items or open the packages.
A spokesman for Walmart called the incident disturbing and says they've since checked all the carts at this location. They also say they'll continue to regularly check those carts. And security footage is also being reviewed by Walmart.
Walmart definitely has to do better or prepare to cut the check.
Okay, so in Men in Black, they didn't read the New York Times. They read things like this, the National Enquirer, the Globe.
Hot sheets, best investigative reporting on the planet.
Best investigative reporting on the planet is what Kay said. Was that just a joke or maybe a warning hidden in plain sight? Okay, stay with me here, because here's the thing. Tabloids like Globe and National Enquirer, they may look totally ridiculous, but sometimes they bury real stories inside a swirl of nonsense. They take real things, black ops, underground labs, elite control systems, and smother them in exaggeration, just enough to discredit the whole entire thing. Why do they do this? Because if it's published somewhere, even a tabloid, they can later say, well, the public saw it, we put it out there, they just didn't take it seriously. So the question isn't just, is this true or false? So the question is, what are we really being shown through these articles? Sometimes the wildest lies are built to hide the quiet truth.
Google's new AI is actually terrifying. Everyone knows how good ChatGPT is at creating realistic photos, but Google just announced their new VO software that allows you to make hyper-realistic videos of pretty much anything that you want. People on TikTok are using it to make those viral interview videos and even fake podcasts.
You know, none of this is real, right? It's all just AI?
See, that's the problem with men. They think us women are just AI prompts.
And some are taking it way too far because they are giving these AI characters actual emotions, which is causing them to freak out because they understand that they are not real.
We're not even real. We're here because someone typed a sentence on a computer in some distant universe. We're just prompts.
I'm sorry, but if we keep messing with these AI people, eventually they're gonna get smarter than us and take over.
Abilities. He can see things that other people can't see. He's had astral travel experiences, out-of-body experiences, all those sort of things. He says it's a vibe, it's a spiritual smell. It almost takes one to know one. And he gives this example of he was visiting New Zealand, he ended up living there for a while. And he drove past this building one day and the windows were boarded up and he's like, that's a lodge. That's absolutely a lodge. And he just had this feeling. It's like a spiritual smell. It's like a vibe you pick up. And this extended as well. Eventually he found out, oh, that actually was the Masonic Lodge. And eventually, when he moved to New Zealand, he made friends with this local guy. And he said as soon as he met the guy, he's like, this guy's in a lodge. I can tell he's a Freemason. And they became friends. Eventually, this guy invited him over for dinner. And as soon as he got into this guy's house, he saw the Masonic symbol, hanging on the wall above the couch. And he's like, I knew it. Again, it's just this feeling. There's something about maybe the energy field or just the vibe that this person gives off, which I think is an interesting concept. Like if you get involved in a particular group, what's imprinted on your energy field, your psyche, your very...
Well, we see them. There's two girls, and one of them has white nail polish on, distinct white nail polish. And they both hold up the Illuminati sign towards the defendant, Sean Combs. He's turning back. He sees the Illuminati signs, like pure triangles.
Like in front of their face?
Like at their chest.
Oh.
So they're not holding it up in the air, but they're like holding it in front of their chest. Sean Combs looks, and we see him put his fist on his chest and mouth, "Thank you."
I mean, they could throw up all the signs they want to. I think they're still going to cook them, though.
You had a woman on, some aliens came into her during the show.
Yes, we are here. We are here. We are very happy to be here. Yes, indeed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know who that was? Or
That was the Great Council.
So let me say this, because this has never happened. You've been to my Vegas studio. I filmed 500 episodes there.
Yeah.
The TV screens, when she was channeling behind her, were going off and on.
Wow.
The lights were going off and on. We replaced everything. Like, we stopped the episode, replaced all the wires. My producer came in.
All right,
then. Still going off and on after. And I filmed 6 episodes right after her the same day, no issues. So I don't know.
So you're saying it's the aliens?
I'm saying something. I don't know if it's aliens. I don't know if it's a spirit. It was hard not to laugh. I'm not going to lie, but I try to be open-minded.
They're making super people, man. They're making X-Men. They're going to put
I don't like that
tardigrade genes into humans. Do you know what a tardigrade is? Tardigrades are these really weird little, almost insect-looking things that are unbelievably durable. They're tiny, microscopic little water bears. Yeah. So these little can survive forever in space. They go into like hibernation. They think there's some of them from the Japanese lunar lander that are actually on the moon, and that they're like in a suspended state of animation, and that if you brought them back to the United States, they'd kick back in and be alive again. That's how crazy these little So there was this Chinese experiment where they're integrating tardigrade DNA into human DNA.
It showed that there was a clean transfer. New cells function normally.
But also demonstrated increased rate of cell growth.
They're trying to make them immune to radiation, is what the idea was.
That is so crazy.
That is wild.
They may create super soldiers. What the fuck?
I don't know much about witchcraft.
You don't want to.
What is it?
There are black witches and white witches, that there are witches that do good. Witchcraft is still witchcraft. It's the use of the elements, and there's alchemy, there's wizardry, sorcery, electricity, magic, use of blood, use of spit, use of sperm. I did it 2 times. Both of them worked, and then I went,
are you serious?
This is bigger than I am. That really fucked my life up, and it took years for us to get out of it.
What were your hexes?
One was something that had to do with the guy that actually punched me. What happened was, we went to school that day. The guy walked up to me and just slugged me. The second bus shows up, and we get in the bus and we take off. He's coming up to his house, and he walks through the walkway in the bus and elbows me in the back of the head as he's getting out. And I was trying to fit in, so I had a mouthful of Red Man. And when he hit me, I went, ooh, and I swallowed that shit. That's it. I'm going to do something about this. So I looked through the book, and I found something that would do what I wanted. I did that hex.
What did you want to happen?
I really don't want to get into it because I don't want anybody to be misled and try and figure out what I did. When you open up the doors to the dark, they're not going to wait to be invited in. They're coming.
Do you think you were possessed?
Oh, I know it was. When we went to San Francisco to go see the Filipino priest, he said that he laid hands on me and the head of a bull came out of my chest.
See, I'm glad he told the dark side about, playing with magic, because it definitely does come back to you. You don't walk away scot-free, so think twice.
It's come to my attention that some of you in the comments section seem to think that I am jealous or envious of Hollywood. You mean jealous of this? Or this? Or this? I could go on all day. But the truth of the matter is, they are mocking you. See, no matter how much is being exposed, you're still buying their perfume, buying their jewelry, buying their clothes, buying their makeup, buying their hair care products, using every bit of the money that you've earned while being enslaved here on this earth, on them and their materialism. They tell you who they worship. The Most High. More times than one.
This amazing reward from the devil.
They tell you who they absolutely don't worship.
That is so
good. You can put little things right in front of your faces, but still, you'll deny it. They tell you things like,
I'm going to take your souls.
Oh, but it's just satire. They don't mean it. The thing about it is they are now making it blatantly obvious who and what they are and who they serve. And you guys aren't going to have an excuse as to why you worship pagan idols. You are the ones being played, not me.
Hardcore thing is that there is an extremely classified document dealing with religion, and it's about that thick. Period. But why would there be any classified material dealing with religion?
I want to go back to the religion thing. I want you to say it.
Oh, come on, that's so weird. That's a lot.
I'm not asking you to say what you believe to be a fact. I'm asking you to say what you read in a report that that is distributed at what may be the most top secret facility in the world. Okay. All right.
All right, I'll say it. It's so far out.
All right, your objection has been noted.
Okay.
What does it say?
That we're containers. That's how supposedly the aliens look at us. That we are nothing but containers.
Containers of?
Containers. Maybe containers of souls. You can come up with whatever theory you want, but we're containers, and that's how we're mentioned in the documents. That religion was specifically created, so we have some rules and regulations for the sole purpose of not damaging the containers.
The souls? Meaning?
Well, the souls or the bodies, whatever. Right? That's
meaning like we're containers for souls that they're going to use at some other point.
Right.
And that they had something to do with different prophets and biblical figures.
Yes.
What?
Well, then, that supposedly Jesus and two other beings were genetically engineered. They were implanted in people on Earth in biblical times, and their births were closely monitored. Now, just some little connections to that my wife had brought up were in the Bible. They said that the star had followed Mary wherever she went, and that all UFO sightings always start out as people, well, gee, that looks like a bright star, and well, in fact, they said in the Bible, the brightest star in the sky followed her where she went, and just make little connections like that. Okay, I don't know what else to. All right.
Blue beam is supposed to get rid of religion, because what will happen, according to the legend, is the holograms will manifest as whatever deity is dominant in the area, whether it's Jesus or Buddha, whomever. And atheists will see different things, and people will just freak out. Nationalism will go away.
Atheists will see different things. Like, why?
Because, according to the legend, the array or with the technology will manipulate your mind. Again, HAARP has been accused of this because you can manipulate someone's mind with electromagnetic frequencies at the right frequencies. So they could just tell you to see something.
So, like, that specific?
That specific.
Allegedly.
Now, I debunk a lot of it because the story originally came from a Canadian journalist named Serge Manasse, fascinating figure. He comes out with this theory that's bonkers, and then the Canadian government takes his kids away because they're homeschooled. He gets harassed by authorities. He gets hauled off to jail for spreading disinformation, dies of a heart attack the next day. So then, of course, that's just like, pew, that lights the fuse. So now it's like, what did he find? So, and he talked very publicly about all of this. So that's supposedly how it happens, is they manipulate our minds, they show us what we want to see, and then it's not like we won't resist authority. We'll beg for it. We'll just beg to take our freedom, take our rights, keep us safe.
Whoa. Because something huge is happening and we need to consolidate.
I feel like that's what would happen.
I mean, there definitely is a certain group out there, certain crowd of people that will be asking for some kind of like dictatorship, they'll be lost and looking for some kind of direction. But there absolutely is another group out there, a crowd of people that won't be asking for any of that. Let me know what you think, though.
Friend, look at this. I never thought what could be under these racks at the grocery store. But look at this. This is roaches. So you better believe that the very next time I'm at the grocery store, I'm checking.
Kevin Gates has officially come out and said he is the angel of fear.
Are you an angel? What you just said? Are you an angel?
I'm the angel of fear.
The angel?
The angel of fear.
You're the angel of fear. That's what
Those
you
who know
understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying. Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir. He who opposes us in his heart.
Do you let people know?
Fear shall overtake him.
Do you let people know that? Do you tell people that?
Those who have eyes, let them see. And those who have ears, let them hear. It ain't for me to put it there. They know the voice of their shepherd when I'm on location. Yes, sir. I got to shoot. I got to do.
Give me a handshake on that one.
Yes, sir.
We speak the same language.
It's nice to meet you.
Crazy thing is, that's not the first time Kevin Gates has said something like that.
You say, fast forward to the future, if I was 86 years old, well, this is gonna sound very, very crazy. I'm already like 3,000 years old right now. I just tell people I'm 33 because I don't age. Like 3,000. I know that's gonna sound weird, but I don't age. I'm immortal. There's nothing new under the sun. My mother had sex with an angel, was born an immortal, and ain't even know it.
So a while ago, Kevin Gates said he was over 3,000 years old and that he was immortal. Now, when being asked by Paul Pierce if he was an angel, he said, dang, as if he had to answer the question. And then proceeded saying, I am the angel of fear. Well, good thing the Lord did not give us a spirit of fear, so won't no children of God be fearing anything when it comes to Kevin Gates. I pray for the boy to get help. However, if he truly is the angel of fear, if he truly is working with the kingdom of darkness, then he knows who to play with and who not to play with. He knows where he's going and where he's come from. One thing about these people telling you who they are, Stop calling them off as crazy. Start listening to what they saying. Because they be telling on themselves a lot of different times.
This stone is known as the Shabaka stone and is located in the British Museum. It dates back to the 25th dynasty, during the reign of the Black Pharaoh Shabaka. And for me, this is a very interesting stone because of the text that's on it. Unfortunately, the stone was found by locals and was used for grinding flour at one point, hence all the damage on it. But we can still see the most interesting part of the text. Now, the Pharaoh tells us that the text on this stone is actually much older than the stone itself. But before I show you that, I want to show you a verse from the Bible. This is the opening chapter of the Bible, and I want to bring your attention to this part because it brings the idea of God speaking the world into existence. What's amazing is we find something very similar on this ancient Egyptian tablet about the God speaking the world into existence. So could this stone that contains even older text be one of the sources of information on the creation of the world?
Okay, so this is supposedly real Russian CCTV footage of this really fast-moving object that blows by. This is like some Marvel tech or some like alien tech, but you're gonna be watching right up here. You see that thing move? And then look at the clock. I mean, I'm sure someone could fake this, but watch. This is crazy. Is it touching the ground?
Are rather soon going to be faced with a world that has billions of people who do not have the skills to leverage AI. Some of them will be necessary for a time. You're going to need plumbers, but this is also not a long-term solution because not only are there not enough of those jobs, but of course we have humanoid robots that once imbued with AI capacity will also be able to take, they'll be able to crawl under your house into the crawl space and fix your plumbing. So what typically happens when you have a massive economic contraction that arises from the fact that a huge number of people are out of work is that the elites start looking at those people and thinking, well, we don't really need them anyway. And so the idea that this AI disruption doesn't lead us to some very human catastrophe, I think, is overly optimistic, and that we need to start preparing right now. What are the rights of a person who has had whatever it is that they've invested in completely erased from the list of needs? Is that person responsible for not having anticipated AI coming? And is it their problem that they are now starving and they're being eyed by others as, a useless eater? I don't think so.
Yeah, those are definitely conversations that need to be had because slowly but surely AI is definitely taking over every industry, one by one. So there should be some kind of law set in place at a certain point in time,
Kool-Aid Seeker Society is a Black Skulls and Bones organization. Why was Kobe Bryant a target? Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project, completed what I believe one of the greatest global cover-ups in history. But we have to see this for what it is concerning the assassination of Kobe Bryant. And one name keeps popping up. And it sounds like a Hollywood conspiracy movie, but the Boulets are vicious. I have no intentions of committing suicide. I'm not sick. I have no disease. On that Last Supper painting, those individuals are not the apostles of the gospel. The individual portraying Christ is not Christ himself. It's a woman by the name of Julia Farnese with the G. On her right-hand side, which would be to the left when you're looking at the painting, is not the apostle St. John. It's her adolescent daughter, Laura Farnese, who was the illegitimate child of Pope Alexander.
Genuinely horrified. Another addition, if you think you're looking at a super cute, super fashionable music video couple, but really it's a 17-year-old Lauren London and a 28-year-old Pharrell. Confirmed here on Lauren London's Instagram page, 17 years old. Now, we all know that Jay-Z also features on this song, and at this time, he was a 32-year-old man dating a 20-year-old Beyonce. He met her when she was 16, and he was 28. Not to mention his alleged assault on a 13-year-old with, you guessed it, Diddy. I'm about to go on a Lauren London Diddy deep dive because, God, the body language just never lies. Look at this photo. My God. When your best friend of several years comes forward about something as scary as Cassie has and you stay silent, says a lot. Not to mention, you're white male abolish. Mind Your Idols, the podcast on Cassie, is out now.
Because when I woke up, I saw Pope dies at 88, and then Bitcoin hit 88 like 30 minutes later.
The 88. Okay, so 88, he dies at 88. Now, that's the number of wealth. Going back to Trump, I found something else with Trump. There's a character based off of him. Now, what movie has 88 in it, which has a character based off of it? Back to the Future.
Yeah, I already know where you're going with this.
So in Back to the Future, part 2, what happens is that Biff, he gets the almanac, right? And the almanac, if you guys don't know the movie, the almanac is basically where it shows all the sports findings or all the sports plays and then who wins for the next 50 years.
One of the greatest movies of all time. Continue.
Right. So what happens in the movie that he gets the almanac, he goes back into the past, gives it to himself to win and get rich and have casinos and be all rich and powerful. That's based off of Trump. When he goes back to the future, everything is like a tangent. It's like Biff's future now. Biff's future is where he's all rich and powerful. Now, what speed do you have to go back and forth through time in the movie? 88.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold the phone.
So now, think about this. So now, Trump, which Biff's characters is based off of, he has Biff Tower, like Trump Tower. He has gambling. He has a casino like how Trump does. He's a rich, powerful businessman. He has all these different, he even looks like him. He has the same little wiffle.
It's Trump. Isn't it crazy that Trump there's that whole Trump's the last president, Baron Trump is this time traveler. I honestly didn't piece this together, that you have Baron Trump, who is, there's a book by, who was that?
Ingersoll Lockwood.
Ingersoll Lockwood, who wrote that book about a time traveler named Baron Trump.
Baron Trump's Marvelous Adventure. And it's about a boy who can time travel. He has a mentor named Don.
Come on.
This is written in 1893. So you're telling me a boy named Baron Trump has a mentor named Don. This is over 100 years ago.
How many coincidences do y'all need?
Ingersoll Lockwood writes another book called The Last President, about a president who is anti-system, who is very charismatic, and he disrupts the system as when he takes power, when he takes the POTUS seat. He lives on Fifth Avenue.
Wait.
All this is in the book. Literally. So the fact that it parallels, and like this guy was like an outsider, becomes president and becomes the last president because it is a shift, a whole disruption when he becomes president. 2 books that predict exactly who's in power right now. Baron Trump, Donald Trump.
And then you have Back to the Future, that's about another time traveler.
Another time traveler.
It's like he's going throughout time and making stories about himself.
Hey, now I definitely had no clue that Back to the Future had so many loose connections to Trump. Let me know what you think, man. Is that too far of a reach, or is that, pretty much on point?
AI is coming for your job, and sooner than you think.
The way we McDonald's may be changing forever.
Is Amazon replacing their employees with robots?
As you see, we're building this robot that installs shingles on the roof.
House building robot developed in Germany.
What sort of jobs would be lost to AI?
Anyone who does driving for a living, a chef, waiter, a lot of things will become automated.
AI to search for microscopic signs of the disease, catch tumors before they develop.
This is not happening in the future, it's happening right now. From classrooms to construction sites, from hospital wards to Wall Street, AI is being installed faster than any technology in human history. And it's not just replacing workers, it's outperforming them by a mile. These are the areas the experts warn are going to get hit the hardest, the soonest. Healthcare is number 1. AI diagnostic systems are now beating human doctors in detecting cancer, predicting heart conditions, and reading X-rays. One study, AI caught breast cancer 5 years before human radiologists could. 5 years. And with tools like DeepMind's AlphaFold revolutionizing protein mapping, the drug discovery process is going full automation also. How long before your next checkup comes with a download button? Construction and trades is also getting hit pretty hard. Right now, China's building homes with no human labour at all. Robotic arms, 3D concrete printers, and autonomous diggers are already on job sites today. Japan's aging population has accelerated full-scale adoption of humanoid construction bots. In Boston Dynamics, they're not just dancing anymore. They're lifting, moving, stacking, and learning. They're due to be in factories any minute. The days of high-vis vests are truly numbered.
Is Amazon replacing their employees with robots?
Amazon is replacing warehouse workers with fully automated systems. Call centers are being gutted by voice AI. They're more polite, less unionized. And self-checkouts, that was just the beta test. McDonald's is piloting fully AI-run stores. No humans, just screens, bots, and digital payments. There's also something I covered last week, AI teachers. Alpha School in the US is already using AI tutors for one-on-one education. Kids study 2 hours a day with AI, then spend the rest of the day on life skills. And they're outperforming public school students easily. No teachers, no homework, just AI. Finance and legal is getting hit pretty hard too. Goldman Sachs cut thousands of jobs in its trading division because AI now does the trades faster, more accurate, and they don't require a bonus. And law firms are next. Contract analysis, case law search, legal drafting, all being handed off to AI as we speak. In one test, an AI passed the United States bar exam. Let that sink in.
Now, what is the solution, you might ask? I'm pretty sure the solution is doing all that you can to avoid being on UBI, Universal Basic Income. You know, doing all that you can, because when you're on that system, I think the situation gets sticky. That's just my opinion, but let me know what you think.
Diddy trial has officially resumed, and today his assistant testified saying some extremely dark stories on what it's like to work with this guy. So her name is Capricorn Clark, and she worked for Diddy from 2004 to 2012. She said that on her very first day, he took her to Central Park after dark with a bodyguard, just to tell her that just because she used to work with his rival Suge Knight, if she ever did anything wrong, he would unalive her. She said she was overworked to the point of exhaustion, clocking in at 9 a.m. and working until 4 a.m. without any meals or breaks. And when she told Diddy that she was owed $80,000 in overtime pay, he ripped the paper in half. And it only gets darker. When some of Diddy's jewelry went missing, Clark says she was kidnapped by his bodyguard and taken to an abandoned skyscraper in Manhattan, where a man told her, if you fail this lie detector test, they're going to throw you in the East River. She says she was interrogated for 5 straight days before being allowed to go back to work. And probably the most chilling part of the whole testimony. So Clark says that Diddy came to her apartment holding a gun and told her to get dressed because we're going to unalive Kid Cudi. She got in the car, sat on his lap with the gun still in his hand, and drove with him to Cudi's house. Inside the car, she even called Cassie Ventura and said, Puff came and got me with a gun and took me to Cudi's house to unalive him. Later that same day, Diddy allegedly viciously kicked Cassie for learning about her fling with Cudi at 100% force. Clark says that she was silent and crying and that Diddy told her he would mess her up if she tried to intervene. Details we're learning in this trial are getting extremely dark, and there are no cameras inside the courthouse, so every single day I'm making a video updating you guys on what's going on.
Did you know that you are literally made out of light? These Planck spherical units, they're tiny units of light, and they fill space and time, and they make up our physical body. For the last 2,500 years, only a very few saints and sages understood the truth of reality. But now we are entering time, because of the science, where everyone will understand the truth of reality. Hi, my name is Dr. Kat Lewis, and I'd like to explore the fascinating connection between science, spirituality, the nature of reality, and your health. If that sounds interesting to you, then please like and follow me. Science becomes the golden thread upon which the pearls are strung. That's a quote from the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East. Talking about a time when the day would come where science would provide the insights that we need in order to convince humanity of what reality truly is, and that we are all very deeply connected. We are in the mind of the universe. Think of the physical world that we experience as a giant high-resolution screen, and the pixels are these tiny units of light. But instead of being flat like you would see on a two-dimensional screen, they're actually spherical. So in the material world, the material objects that you see and even your physical body are made out of these units of light. And these units of light are actually conscious, they're self-aware. That dynamic is a feedback, feed-forward dynamic. And as they accumulate and come together, they create us and the material objects. And the more of them there are, the more intelligent or the more complex the being is. Nassim Haramein at the International Space Federation has unified the two fields of physics. This is something Einstein died trying to do.
I and the space between everything appears to be empty. We call it empty space commonly, but it's not. Space-time at a very specific scale of the Planck length is quantized with spherical units of Planck oscillators, billions of times smaller than the atom. You can think of it as like a fluid that permeates all space. It's a source of the gravitational field. It's a source of the electromagnetic field. It's a source of mass. It's a source of charge. So now we're starting to really understand the mechanics of it at the deeper.
Now, not only does this unify the two fields of physics, it unifies our hearts and our minds, it unifies science and spirituality, and it will unify our worlds. Because the only reason we do harm to one another is because we don't understand how deeply connected we are and how everything is affecting everything else. And so when we harm another, we're harming ourselves. This information is going to take humanity out of our hypnosis of separation consciousness, that just because we can't see it, that we're separate. We'll stop hurting one another and we'll get on to better things, because it's a whole new world when we understand the truth of reality, and that we know that the amount of energy in this seemingly empty space is infinite and can supply the fuel for our technologies. It can help heal our physical bodies, because it's really decoherence with this field that causes disease on all levels, mental, emotional, and physical. Don't be afraid to share this information with others, because the more other people start to understand it, then the more our world shifts. Study Nassim's work at the International Space Federation. They have a YouTube channel, and they also have a website, and they also have a community membership program where you get to attend meetings during the month, each month, where the scientists come on and you can ask them questions, and they really spend time with you and answer your questions. So you don't have to be a scientist to understand. You'll get the essence of what they're saying, and it's really profound, and has can have a huge shift on your psyche. Because when you hear a truth, it gives you great peace, great happiness, great feeling of expansion, and also inspiration to be alive. That's the effect this type of information has on you, because that's by design. That's how we're supposed to react to this kind of information. If you like this content, please like, share so others can benefit. Type peace in the comments.
Enriching yourself with new information every day, that is definitely how you grow, man. That's how you grow. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, hey, smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and join the iTrack fam. Stay up to date with the latest, greatest, interesting, and creepy videos from all across the internet, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.